Arts Federation and also through the organization Alternate Routes, the regional organization of Theater South, for helping to make this touring production possible. And I'd also like to let you know that there's going to be an intermission, so just keep your seats till we're all ready to let you go for about 15 minutes, and then they'll be back again. Anything else I need to tell you? Well, let's just give a warm welcome to Ron Short, Tommy Bledsoe, and Angeline DeBoard, Roadside Theater.
Does anybody want to drink water before we get started? But we don't want. Does anybody want to spit? Go right ahead, honey. Turn to the person beside you and go. That way we will find out who your friends are real quick. You sure you don't want to drink water? How you doing?
We got a good crowd here tonight. Good looking crowd too. We're not used to that.
That guy there in the fifth row?
Yeah.
As soon as he gives me $5, we turn the lights down.
Yeah, we're glad to be back down here at Shelby. Seems like it's a good place for us to come to. A lot of nice people down here. We've been here before and had dances and all kinds of stuff. Y'all know any good jokes? You know some good. This fellow right here knows some good jokes. What's your good joke? It takes a while now. It takes a while for jokes to work.
I hear the new one, Thanksgiving joke. You know why turkey cross the road? Chickens stay off. That's a turkey joke. You like cat jokes?
Yeah.
We'll work our way up to you after a while.
Yeah.
This fella driving down the road one day, this is true. Hit this cat, splatted it out. This is splat. You sent, well.
Yeah, you said.
Now, up at the house, if you run over something, like it's a cat or a dog or a young'un or something like that, you have to go up to the house and tell people that you've done run over something. Usually you announce what it is. So this guy, he run over this cat and he went up to the house and he knocked on the door and a woman come out and he said, "Lady, I'm real sorry, but I think I've done run over your cat." She said, "Oh my goodness, no, I hope not." I said, "What did he look like?" I said, "Well, he kind of looked like this." She said, "No, I don't mean after you hit him, I mean before you hit him." Said, "Well, kind of like this." You want to hear a dog joke?
No. I don't know. We didn't come here to tell jokes, so no.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I did.
Y'all come on in. We've been waiting for you. Come on in. We got your seats right down here in the front row. Nah, you don't have to sit down there if you don't want to. Hey.
Hey, have they told the cat joke yet?
Yeah, we told
And I'm
you.
sorry I meant to get out here earlier, but I was busy.
So I got it out first. I got it real quick. I didn't tell the long one. I told the short one this time.
We didn't come out here to tell you cat jokes.
No.
Let's let these people sit down. There's a lot of seats right over here. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a match made in heaven. Come right over.
If you check and see, they probably got your name on it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 6 seats right over here.
Yeah, that's her.
We're glad y'all came because that's a big place right there. A big place for people to sit. That seat's not saved, is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay. I thought maybe you was expecting somebody. Okay.
Well, let's just get this show going. Looks like everybody's in, everybody's sitting down, everybody's looking good.
If anybody else comes in, charge them $5.
Turn off the lights. That's what we do.
Go to the house.
We're from up Whitesburg, he told you before, How many of y'all ever been to Whitesburg? Look.
There's some people.
Was you all like lost or what? No, it's a good place. It's nice up there, ain't it? It's a nice place. Whitesburg is located up there in the middle of the Cumberland Mountains, what they call Central Appalachia. Up there where Virginia and Kentucky and Tennessee and West Virginia, they just sort of back up against each other, you know, like a bed partner on a cold night. And we've come down from our mountains to your mountains to tell you a story. It's a story, actually, that involves storytelling because it's about a storyteller. Polly Branham Johnson was her name. She was born over on Big Beaver Creek in Kentucky back in 1864. Aunt Polly was born over. She died in Miles County, Virginia in 1947. You add that up? Yeah. 83 years Aunt Polly lived. And when she left us a great wealth of stories and songs for all of us to come along behind her. Now, up in Whitesburg, sometimes it seems like, probably right here in Shelby too, it seems like that people's stories somehow or another, they don't count for much. Seems like that the stories that's only worth anything is one of them stories that somebody done went and wrote down in one of them history books, and people's own stories don't count for nothing. Like they're just shadows. Some bigger truth. Now I'll tell you, you get to listen to some of our old storytellers. You get to studying on it and thinking about it just a little bit. You might see that it's them history books what are the shadows of the stories and the memories that each and every one of us has.
I know a little history story.
What's that?
I know one. Was you any good at history? Was you?
Well,
Well, yeah, you were. Well, you may have heard this and then. When our forefathers first come over here to this country, you know, they come over here on big old boats that had big sheets on them. This is kindly a Thanksgiving story, too. Well, when they got here, they got kindly wild. What they done now is what they do a lot back home. They might do it some down here, and they get pretty wild. When they do it is they took to running after game. The weakest of them, though, they finally just all died out. But the strongest of them, they climbed way back up in the hills, and we've all been up there ever since.
We were out on the ice and snow. It hailed and stormed, how the wind did blow, and some of us did mourn and cry. It was so cold, we almost died, but bless the Lord, relief was found. We've landed here, both safe and sound. A lonesome place, but a fertile soil. Here's milk and wine, here's corn and oil. If we on earth are to meet no more, we'll laugh and sing on Canaan's shore. Extend to me the parting hand, and bid me safe to the Cumberland land. Yeah. it seems like, now that Aunt Polly, she was just raised up on all them old songs and them old stories.
And I'm gonna tell you another story. I got it rolling here now.
Yeah, go with it, yeah.
Now this is another story about when our forefathers first come over here to this country. You seem to like that.
Forefather story.
Yeah, now my papa told me this story.
Is that,
when I
I know
was just a
that one
little
there too.
girl.
That's the one about where this feller was coming up the river on one of them big boats is what it was. Is that the one?
Yeah.
I got it, okay. See, there was this fella coming up the river on a big boat, and there's a bunch of them, but that boat hit a rock, and that rock, it's put a big hole in that boat, and that boat sunk down to the bottom, and everybody was drowned except for one fella.
No, now, the way I hear that story, it's about when the Long Hunters first come into this country, way back in the 1740s and 50s, before there's any other white people.
Anyways, the story, it goes like this.
You see, there's this white fella, and he's lost, and he done give up. That's the one, ain't it? Okay. He was done give up all hope of ever getting back to his country, much less seeing any of his people again. He'd been out in the wilderness months and weeks all by himself. You got that? Well, he come upon a deer out there. And he killed that deer some higher up. And he got to looking around for him some place to get him up some shelter, you know, and then cook up his deer. And he spied a big cave way off yonder into the distance. He started dragging that deer with his last ounce of strength over toward that cave.
Now, as he got over to the entrance to that cave, he noticed how it was more slick, like somebody
Or maybe something.
had gone in and out of it real rank.
Well, that fella, he paid some notice, that big slick spot.
Well, he didn't pay too much notice because he's plumb wore out from looking at that big deer.
So he just went on in that there cave, got him up some firewood, built him up a big fire.
Commenced to roll that big deer.
Well, now that deer is getting real good and done. He reached over to get himself a little bite off the side of that there deer.
All at once behind him, he heard a great big
growl.
turn around,
And right there stood a great big hairy woman.
Well, let me tell you, that fella was scared. That woman must have been
8
7.
feet tall, isn't it? She was just kind of standing there casual like with a big deer just tossed up across her shoulder.
She was looking at that fire and looking at that white man. Well, I don't reckon she'd ever seen a fire before.
Nor a white man neither.
God! Yuck! That fella didn't know what in the world he's gonna do, so he just reached over from that deer where it was a cooking. He didn't know he was gonna be in this show tonight. He started in cooking on that there deer leg. Finally, he's getting good and done. Yeah, look at that. Reached over to get himself a little bite. When he heard another growl.
A long, low growl.
Oh, hell. This time when he turned around, right there stood the hairy man. Well, he knowed he was a goner for sure right then. That hairy man is going to eat him up, but then that big hairy woman jumped right in the middle of that big hairy man. Tell me when they get finished, okay? Finally, the hairy woman, she killed that hairy man.
She drug him on outside.
So that there, old white fella, he just sort of stayed on at that cave. Sort of took up that big hairy woman.
Lived with her, you know.
Whenever that woman would go hunting, she'd just reach over and grab that fella and throw him up on her back. Wait a minute! She'd pack him out in the woods and set him out on a little old rock or log or stump, whatever she could find. Go out and kill all the game and just drag it right on back into the cave.
That fella
year, finally, her woman.
Had a baby.
I reckon you must have done something.
That fella was awful good now. He was about minding that little baby and staying around there. He'd keep, get out of the far, you little. And he'd keep the place cleaned up. He kept it all swept and tidy.
Cave keeping, they called it back then.
But now I tell you, he's getting awful lonely. Because he didn't have nobody to talk to. And when you ain't got nobody to talk to, you get lonely, don't you? Yes, you do. And then he got an idea. Why? Yeah, sure. I can do it. I can teach my baby. He's just like me. Look at that. And maybe I can teach her too. She can learn some things too. Yeah, well, maybe.
Hard.
But you heard all over.
Hard.
That's good. That's the first thing she learned.
Baby.
Ain't he something? Look at him. Oh, ain't he something?
Oh, baby.
What is it?
I don't know. Leave him alone.
Baby. Oh. Purdy.
You know, she was pretty smart, actually. She was.
Anyhow, that man, he had been there for 5 years, and one day, while the woman was off hunting, some people from his own country came by, and they found
There's
him.
another one of them big boats I started up to you about.
I hear there's another part of them long
Don't
hunters
listen
come by,
to
that's
him.
what I
Oh.
hear.
Anyways, the fella knowed his last chance to ever make it back home to his own people ever again.
But he wanted to take his little baby with him.
They told him no,
What?
sir. He could not take that baby with him.
A half-hairy baby never make it in our country.
Now, boys, that's my child, and I'm going to take it with me.
No,
No.
You
Yeah.
leave that brute.
So, that's what he done. He left his little baby. And he left his woman. And he got in that boat with them men, and he took off and out in that water, and then he heard a growl.
turn around and look back up on the
And he
bank.
see what it was. It was the woman, of course, and she was running after him and had her little baby in her arms. Took out into the water, right?
Yeah, but the water it got too deep and swift, and she couldn't go no further.
So she took the little
And
baby,
she held it way up over her head,
like she's saying to him,
not to leave on count of her baby.
oh, that poor man. He sat in to crying.
Ocean for to go
And you're
back.
telling her, now get out of here!
Baby.
Go on, I gotta leave. Go get out of here! Go on. She looked out at the man, and she let out one big growl, and then she tore that little baby right in two. She flung half of it back to a certain man on the boat.
Then, hugging the hive, what looked like her, she just turned around.
She walked on back up to the cave.
Right there, it ain't no easy story. But people still tell it because it's still part of who they are. Aunt Polly said that her grandpa told her that story when she wasn't nothing all but just a little old bitty girl. But now, boy, I tell you, she was always a questioning something, Polly. And soon as he got finished, she looked him right in the eye and she asked him, said,
Well, now, Pawpaw, which hive are we?
I'm gonna let you all decide that. Did y'all hear about that Civil War? Did you? Well, it wasn't like it was down south up home. I tell you, it wasn't like in big battles and stuff. It was just maybe one family fighting another family, or brother fighting a brother. And they was families up home. They was families, and I'll tell you what's the truth. They was ripped and tore apart, and it wasn't a whole lot different than that there little baby was. And Ain't Polly's family again. He was right smack dab in the middle of that whole Civil War thing, too.
Yeah, but my daddy, you see, now he wouldn't go in that old Civil War. Because Daddy was a laying out of scouting from them Yankees. Uncle Tan, my daddy's brother, he was a laying out of scouting from them, too. Daddy said one night, said he was a laying out in the woods. He was a scouting. And he said that it seemed like the lonesomest night he'd ever seen. He's out there all by himself in one of them will-o'-the-wisps. You know, one of them little bobs of light you heard about? Well, he'd come up, and it just dandled and dandled around his feet and his legs. Then, he said he heard something. He said it went like somebody was dragging a big old empty box down through the brush. He said it give him the awfulest feeling. Now, there wasn't nobody out there. There was just him. He said right then that he knowed something had happened. Now, Mama and little Adelaide, they was at home at the time little Adelaide was crippled. Had that old fever that was going around. Well, now, it settled in her little legs. They was a-fixing to go to bed. And the Yankees, they rode right up into the yard. Mama was a-pulling her dress off, and they knocked. She slipped her dress back on and told them, said, "Come on in."
Evening, ma'am. Could you tell us where's Mr. Brown?
Well, he's out hunting.
Well, I reckon he better come in and give up his gun.
Yeah, I reckon you probably already heard about Dan Brown getting killed today, didn't you?
I never.
Yeah.
Yankees killed him today.
Finally, they left. You know, my mommy, she acted so hard-hearted. She said her heart was busting. And you know, they'd come intending to kill my daddy, too. And they would have, if it hadn't been for the will-o'-the-wisp and that box being drugged down through the brush there, because that's what they was for, you see. They was signs, warning signs to warn Daddy that his brother, my Uncle Tan, had done got killed. That song right there, it's called Polly, Pretty Polly. They used to sing that song to me when I was just about your age. You know, just kind of starting to grow up.
Oh, Polly, pretty Polly, oh, yonder she stands. Polly, pretty Polly, oh, yonder she stands. Rings on the fingers of her lily white hand. Polly, pretty Polly, come go along with
said that there was a new feller, and he moved up there where Polly was living.
And he was courting Pretty Polly. He finally got her to agree to meet him out in the wilderness late one night.
But that night, when Polly got out there to where that feller had told her to be,
Well, he wasn't nowhere around.
so Polly, she went and clumb up in this big tree.
She went off to sleep
Up there in the forks of that tree, and when she come to, she looked down to the foot of it, and what she see was that man, but he was digging what appeared to be a grave. Polly just decided she better keep still and watch him.
Yeah, kept on digging with that spade.
And it kept on looking
More and more like a grave.
till finally at last.
Polly was sure that's just what it was.
Most of the night, that feller Doug kept looking around for Polly.
Little before daylight, though, I reckon he must have just give up on her coming.
He left.
Polly, she come down out of that tree and she hurried on
But
home.
the next day, that man, he come right up to her house again, and he asked her, he said,
Why for didn't you come?
Polly made up some reason or another like she hadn't even been there the night before.
Why don't you come up to my house for dinner tonight?
She told him she couldn't anyway. I don't know the way to your house.
Oh, I'll mark the trail for you. You just give me some ashes to spread behind me.
Well, I can do that. But I'll not be there tonight. Nor will I be there tomorrow night. But I'll be there. I'll be there on the third night.
but the very next morning, Polly set out, and she started in to follow her down the trail of ashes what that feller had laid down. Well, it went on and on and on out into the wilderness till she come to a little cabin sitting out there just all by itself.
Polly, she peeked around. She seen there wasn't nobody home, and she just went right on in.
That table was spread like somebody was fixing to come to dinner.
Polly was sort of hungry.
And she figured now it won't hurt to have just a little bite.
Picked up a piece of meat and started eating it.
It tasted all right.
But now, she could not figure out what kind of meat that was she was eating on.
She ate that piece and started to pick up another one.
It looked too much like a person's
So
hand.
she put that back.
Real quick.
Then she got to poking
Started
around.
going this little door. All of a sudden, she heard this voice say,
That's you going there, honey girl, or you'll lose your heart's blood.
it scared her to death, but she looked around and she see why it was an old parrot sitting there. Whew. She tried the door anyhow, but that door was locked. A little while later, she started to go up these stairs, and that old parrot started in again.
Don't you go up there, girl, unless you want to lose your heart's blood.
Polly went on up anyhow. She went into this room at the top of the stairs. There was queer, bloody-looking stains all over that room.
So Polly, she started leaving real quick.
When she heard somebody coming outside, and a woman was moaning, and that old parrot started hollering at her.
Girl, hide.
Where? Where can I hide? Where?
Tonight.
Where can I hide? She ran and just got under there.
Come that man dragging
It
us.
was a cousin.
That woman is fat.
Trying to get away.
She reached up and grabbed the stair post. That man brought out his sword and just whacked her hand right off.
That hand fell right into Pretty Polly's apron.
The man drugged her along
Polly
the
can hear
stairs.
me there. He's murdered her. You know he's murdered her. No, don't tell him I've been here. No, don't tell him I've been here. Spare my life's blood.
And then she run home.
But about a week after that, they had a big party.
Yeah, it was a big corn shucking party. Everybody all around came to that.
That man, of course,
He was there, and Pretty Polly.
It's just there too.
the man come right up to Polly again, and he asked her,
Why for didn't you come?
Polly never said nothing.
hey, they got that party started. Hey, buddy, come over here. Hey, oh, come on. Hey, I want to tell you something. I got this little riddle I want to tell you.
They started around telling riddles and all
like
that.
that.
Polly like she had a riddle,
Well, you
Well,
let's
that's
tell
good.
it. Come on.
so she got out to where she could keep an eye on that fella. And she said, oh, how my heart did break to see what a hole that fox did make. All night up in that lonesome pine, I thought I'd be number 9.
Now, when she finished telling that riddle, I'll tell you, that man, he looked sort of pale looking. And all them people started trying to figure it out and asked her, what's the answer to that? That's a good
Polly
one.
loud, she'll
Yeah,
answer
go
it.
ahead, go
I'll
ahead.
answer it
Go ahead.
later on.
Later on. That ain't the way it works. Well, they finally got that party started in again, and he started telling big, come here, I got a joke for you, come over here. Started telling big jokes and dreams like
Polly
that.
loud, she had a dream.
Now they all asked her to Tell it. Come on.
So this time Polly got out to where she could look that fella right square in the eye. And she told us how she had dreamed. She'd gone up to his house, a father in a little tray of ashes. There wasn't nobody home but an old parrot. In my dream, I went on in the house and I ate a lady's finger. That man come in a-dragging a woman. It was my cousin. And he chopped off her hand with his sword. And then he murdered my cousin. And that old parrot started hollering and saying, "Run, pretty Polly, run, or you're the 10th that'll be."
Now, when she finished telling that there man looked even paler still. And Polly reached down into the apron she'd been wearing, and she pulled out that dead woman's hand.
The sword cut this hand that you see, but it's Polly that puts it on the fox's knee.
And when that rogue see that woman's hand,
He fainted.
Polly stood up right then and told them people that wasn't no dream.
No, it was true, and what the answer to that riddle had been,
And them good people, they laid a hold on that rogue.
and arrested him, and he was put to death. Hung.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you farewell. Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you farewell. For killing pretty Polly, I'll soon be in hell.
At a good place for it, too.
And Polly always said that right there was a true story.
Yep.
And I reckon it is. But she also said that fella right there was a witch.
Well, folks believed powerful sighting witches back then.
It is.
But she told another one too. She told one about a fella that got run down off.
Got run down.
Yeah, he got run down.
Swear to God, you run down a chick and a fella gets sick. What happens to a fella? I'll
Well,
tell
he
you
got
what.
real poorly. I mean, he
Poorly.
just got run
No,
down.
Lord.
Real
I got parts that don't even work if I knowed I had parts that work. I'll tell you what.
Well, why don't you
What?
sit down? Won't you sit down?
Don't you put your hands on me.
Oh, I mean, well, why don't you sit down?
I am sitting down.
No, not yet.
Oh.
Here, let me help you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch you. Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
How about? Yeah, there. Is that better?
It's different. Yeah, I like it.
It's better.
I like
Okay.
it. That's good, yeah.
Seemed like this old feller. See, he couldn't get no rest at night.
Can't get no rest at night. Can't.
And in the morning, his hands and his knees
Your
would
hands?
be all scraped up and tore up.
Did you hear about my hands and my knees? They're scraped and they tore up. It's
Yeah,
bad.
they heard about that.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry about it.
Well, he got to. I reckon I'd have worried too.
I'm worried.
Yes,
too,
but
man.
now
It's-
his
What?
wife.
What?
His
Lady?
wife
Ooh,
just
you-
made light of it.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
She told him, she said, "You're going to be all right.
I know it, I'm a devil in it.
What you're doing
Yeah.
is you're walking in your sleep,
Am I?
and you're pulling the chink out twixt the logs of an evening."
But it kept getting worse and worse, and finally, this old fella, he couldn't get out of bed at all. Every morning, he is worse off still.
I'm getting worse. I am.
I know you are.
I swear, it's just dreams what I do.
Say what?
Dream!
What?
Every night. It's the same old thing every night. It's like, boy, I've been rode hard. We're talking bridled and saddled. That's what we're talking. Rode hard and put up wet. Oh, don't do that.
His wife would just laugh at him. She'd tell him, she'd say, "You're going to be all right.
I don't know.
Just quit walking in your sleep."
One day, while his wife was down to the settlement doing a little shopping, there's a neighbor come by to talk and visit with him. And they sat and they talked there for a good long spell.
That old man finally, he told me about that dream.
Dream?
Yes, it's a dream.
Now that neighbor man,
As it happened.
he was a
And
witch
he
doctor.
told him.
Sounds to
me like you're being witched.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want, no,
Now
don't,
listen, I know witching.
don't tell me
Now
about
listen.
it. Don't.
When a witch bridles somebody like that,
Lordy.
what?
Can you tell me, like, professionally what you think this is right here in the side of
What's
my...
that?
What is this right there?
It's a bit sore.
Oh, God.
That's what that is. And rides them around.
Rise 'em.
I bet your hands and your knees is a mess.
I'd show them to you, but you couldn't stomach it, I'll tell you.
Well, listen, if and you just shake that bridle,
Just shake the
yeah, just
bridle?
get rid of that bridle one way or another, you'll be turned back to your own self again.
Okay.
Try that.
I can do that. So that night, that old man dreamed again. Oh, Lord, he's been rid for a long way.
Right up this brightly lit house where he's tied up, tethered there, and left to stand.
Finally, settled through that old thick horse head of his. What that witch doctor had told him about that bridle, and he started working on it and working on it, and finally it fell off onto the ground.
He was again his own self.
Standing in front of a strange house.
Where there was a dance going on.
And he looked in.
Oh, there's all kinds of strange carrying on in there.
Oh, Lordy! And right in the middle of them all was his old woman! Holy shit! Lord! Well, finally, he made his way on back into the house best he could.
When his wife got in early the next morning, he told her he knowed what she'd been up to.
I know what you've been up to. I do. You've been witching me. You have. You've been witching everybody all around. I know it.
He told her she better quit that witching and never do none ever no more or else.
I'll tell on you. I will. I'll tell on you. Now, I'm fooling. I'm telling you. Know what they'll do to you. I will.
Well, they moved off from there.
And she quit her witching.
That fella got his strength back. I know he. Yeah.
And things was going along pretty good there for a little spell.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. Oh. Oh. And then, one day, his horses and his cows, they started to dying off.
Neighbors started having real bad luck.
He knew what it was. He knew exactly what it was. That woman, she's took up that witching again. You can't break one once they get started.
He told her he was going to go off to hunt.
Hey, I'm gonna go off to hunt.
He got his gun and he left.
He went off a little piece, snuck back in, and he shot her. That's the end of that story as far as we know.
Now, my papa always said that a whistling woman and a crowing hen always come to no good end. We'll be back to tell you the rest of the story in just a few